Thanks for joining Scriptures and Devotions. The devotional reading today is titled, Pay Attention, the Days Are Evil. We appreciate you all for watching. Let's begin. Pay careful attention then, to how you walk. Not as unwise people, but as wise. Making the most of the time, because the days are evil. It is definitely wise to examine our spiritual journey attentively. God, who bestows the spirit of wisdom onto believers, is the source of that wisdom. Says to pay careful attention then, to how you walk. That is the main thing. It's not where you walk, but how you walk. Where you walk is a relatively easy problem, but how you are applying this principle in every moment of your life, that is what's important. Paul is saying, rather than acting foolishly and failing to take advantage of the circumstance as it arises, we should act wisely and make the most of any chance that comes our way. How could you demonstrate God's overcoming grace if you are not under pressure? How could you prove that He is adequate for every trial if you didn't go through the trials? How would we know that we will never drain Christ's resources if we don't constantly need to make demands of Him for assistance? He is arguing that there is great pressure to overturn the core values of life when material prosperity and pleasures are in abundance, especially while living in a wealthy culture. This explains why so many people are feeling empty nowadays, and even within the wealthy culture. These are awful times, not only due to the widespread anxieties, tension, and violence, but also because of materialism, which produces this emptiness within. But in reality, just like Paul is saying here, is that people get drawn to the truth about God by these dark times. The opportunity to live out our faith is provided by these evil days. So it is the same days that Satan meant for bad, God always turns around for His glory and the good of His people, just like Moses stated in Genesis 50 verse 20. You planned evil against me, God planned it for good. To bring about the present result, the survival of many people, Genesis 50:20. The contrast between God permitting something, God purposefully producing something, and God doing nothing in response to human needs, is summarized here in a fantastic way. Even when people attempt to do evil, and succeed, God is still able to use those efforts for His greater good. The inspirational quote for this devotion is, acting in wickedness is the definition of foolishness. Walking in foolishness equals not obeying God. Enjoy this brief clip on Ephesians 5 verses 15 to 16 as we close. Thanks for joining us. We look forward to seeing and reading to you next time on Bible Studies, Scriptures and Devotions. God bless.
See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. The phrase appears again, walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time. In both passages, redeeming the time is related to wisdom and how we live. To redeem something means to buy it back or to regain possession of it. Time is a gift from God, and none of us know how much of it we are allotted. Only God knows how much time each of us has on this earth. When God says we should be redeeming the time, He wants us to live in constant awareness of that ticking clock and make the most of the time we have. In fact, the NIV uses the phrase making the most of every opportunity instead. Rather than waste our days on frivolous pursuits that leave no lasting eternal imprint, Scripture instructs us to be diligent about doing good. The context of the command helps us to understand what redeeming time looks like and why it's important. Be careful how you live. Don't live like fools, but like those who are wise. Make the most of every opportunity in these evil days. Don't act thoughtlessly, but understand what the Lord wants you to do. Don't be drunk with wine, because that will ruin your life. We must seek out and employ wisdom. Use every opportunity for God's glory. Think through our plans and align them with God's will. And we avoid empty, harmful activities. Why? Because the days are evil. We must overcome evil with good. Another way we can learn to redeem the time is by asking God to help us. We should start every morning by committing our day to the Lord and do something that has eternal significance. By beginning our day with eternity in mind, we become more aware of spiritual nudges in our hearts. We look for ways we can honor the Lord, help someone else, or utilize our time in productive ways. Sitting at a red light, we can pray for our neighbor. Mopping the floor, we can worship God in song. At a restaurant, we can leave an extra big tip along with a gospel tract. Volunteering, serving at church, leading a ministry, Bible studies at prisons, and studying to show ourselves approved unto God are all ways we can redeem the time. James reminds us that our earthly lives are no more than a fog that appears and then quickly evaporates. Money and possessions will be given away. Jobs will be filled by others. Our families will move on with lives that don't include us. All that remains is that which is invested in eternity. In the end, did we or did we not redeem the time?